applause to the Toastmaster of the day who's doing it the first time. And it doesn't look like it, honestly. Good job. All right. 2 caveats before I open my topic today. The speech delivered by the guest speaker in any of the meetings is usually exempted from the language evaluator. And this is as per section 2.2 of the book that I published last night.
Oh, I love it.
And if you see me pausing quite often in my speech, that's because the photographer JP asked me to pause for a better pose. With that said, I'd like to ask a simple question. Who is the person that you most talk to every single day? Your spouse? No, somebody's falling off the chair. Your boss? Nah, not really. Your children? It's getting difficult. Not to have a conversation, but to get their time these days. So, who is the most important person, or who is the person you have most important conversation with?
It's me.
Every day.
It's me.
Exactly. The most important conversation you can ever have is with you on an everyday basis. Now, today's topic is about the most important conversation that we can ever have in our life. Now, let me go through this. We all have 2 versions of ourselves. One, whenever we achieve something, or whenever we find something good, we say, wow, you've done it. Awesome. Incredible, Ram. That's exactly what we do. And when something goes wrong, oh, this universe clearly has something against me. Oh, that person doesn't like me. Oh, I don't know, the whole organization politics is playing on me. Right? So we have this 2 person always within us. We all know who wins. We all know who rules us. Now, let me give you 3 stories as part of my conversation, and I'll bring you to the first story. Michael Jordan, the basketball player, 6 NBB champion. Now, if you listen to his speech, most of the times he talks about the goals that he missed, the shots that he didn't play well, or the shots that could have been played better to his favor. Why? Simple logic. Jordan was never trying to attempt, why me? But instead, he was attempting to say what I could have done better. That's the conversation which changed him and which made him as a personality whom we are talking now in this place. Now, let's think about it a minute here. We all have situations where we've had a very rough meeting, a difficult conversation with our team or with our boss or with somebody in the office. And we always come back and say one single line to ourselves. Nobody understood me. Right? And that's the conversation which we are all having, not to find out what went wrong, but to tell ourselves that we are right, but the situation is wrong. Now, is this optimism? By the way, word of the day. Am I being optimistic here? Question to think about. Now, let me go to the second story of the day. Oprah Winfrey. We all know who she is. She was at the age of 22, an age where everybody will try to be optimistic about their life, dream about their career. But it was that age where she was out of job. Rather, she was pushed out of the job. All her dreams shattered. All her goals become standstill. And yet, one thing she asked to herself: what is right for me? What should I do to do better? And that translated to a morning talk show, and there is no look back after that. Now, putting that into our corporate life, we all aspire for a good salary. Who doesn't like good salary? Right? We all aspire to be promoted. Who doesn't like promotion? We all aspire to be senior leaders. But one question or a conversation that we often not have is, are we ready for it? What are we doing to make it right? What are we doing to get it right? That's the kind of conversation which Oprah had, which makes her a personality that we are talking about her in this meeting. I'll tell you one more story, and today is the day of stories. I'll talk about Abraham Lincoln. Times were not right when he assumed his office. Civil war, political pressure, everything was going wrong. But whenever you read or whenever you hear about Abraham Lincoln, one thing that resonates with most of the writers, with most of the speakers, is he always pauses before responding. How many of us had this experience? When somebody writes a nasty email to us, we immediately respond. And then 10 minutes later or 10 seconds later, you open that email, we read it, and we just realize we have resigned from the company. And this is not what Abraham Lincoln did. He always had or took time to pause, to think, to reconsider, and to reflect what he has to do. Now, this conversation that he had with himself is not leadership. It's a reflection. Now, we've heard three stories: Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and Abraham Lincoln. What's common between the three stories or the three personalities? You know what? They never used their failures to judge themselves. They used their failures to coach themselves. That's the big difference. Now, we all have failures. We all have faced failures. But did that failure help to judge ourselves or help to coach ourselves? Is the question. Or that's the conversation after every failure, my friends, I would request you to have. Because, I'll put it this way: Michael Jordan or Oprah Winfrey or Abraham Lincoln might have had their failures, for sure. But never ever after a failure, they said, I am a failure. They probably would have said why it didn't work. Now, I made a mistake and I am a mistake are two different sentences. Now, I am a mistake is an identity, a false identity. Now, I made a mistake helps you grow, whereas this makes you still I am a mistake may not be grammatically correct, but it leaves you at a place where you cannot grow further. Whereas, if you start thinking, yes, I did a mistake, but how should I go about handling it? That's a conversation. That's a deep conversation. And that's an essential conversation we should all have. Now, we all spend dollars to uplift ourselves, to educate ourselves, to improve ourselves. But are we spending the time and money in the right place? Or is it all required even? The fundamental training that we all are supposed to have is within ourselves, asking the right questions, which propels us to learn all the other things. Now, let's do a simple exercise. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to stand up. Imagine a situation that went wrong in the last 1 month. Maybe a presentation that didn't go well. Maybe a negotiation that you didn't succeed. Or probably a misunderstanding with your spouse. Oh, that happens every day. Let's go back on a monthly basis. Take something that you have had in the past 1 month. I would like to go through within yourself the 3 questions. What happened? What could have been done better? Can I make it? The 3 important questions, if we start thinking about the incident that has happened, it could change the way that we are going to do in future. Now, this is just one simple exercise. I'm going to ask you to do a much more bigger task today. 5 minutes every day for the next 7 days. Just 5 minutes. No phones, no emails. JP is looking at me. Really? And most importantly, no Netflix. I'm asking for twins. But the 5 minutes every day or every night, what happened during the day that didn't go well? What happened during that situation that you could have done better? And what happened during that day which could be done otherwise better? These are the 3 important things that we all have to have within ourselves to make sure that we're doing better. Not just to say that, I'll be better tomorrow. I will listen more tomorrow. I will do a better project in my next meeting. No, not really. We are not here to impress people, my friends. We are here to express ourselves with the most important thing that is in your mind, which is about being true to yourself. We are not about impressing others to look good in our Facebook, to look good in our LinkedIn, to look good in our Instagram with all the filters. We are here to be reflective of what we think about ourselves. And what we think about ourselves can only take shape when we have our conversation with ourselves in a more meaningful and optimistic way. Now, wrapping up, Michael Jordan, he had a failure, but he translated that into an opportunity for a better shot in his next match. Oprah Winfrey had a failure, but she translated into becoming a better communicator, a better personality. Abraham Lincoln, he had failures too, but he converted that into becoming a great leader. Now, all of this happened not by just reading a book, not by just practicing in the nest, not by just giving a podcast every day in the morning, but having all the conversation with oneself to make sure that all the other people talk about it. All the other people resonate with that. All the other people take something away from their success, or most importantly, from their failures. We all so much engrossed in being successful, but the deeper conversation that we all are meant to have is about the failures and how we react to those failures. And that conversation can never happen with your boss, with your spouse, or with your children. The best conversation you can ever have is with yourself, because one simple, truthful conversation with yourself will change all the conversations that you're going to have henceforth with anybody. So be optimistic, talk to yourself, because that's the best conversation. Toastmasters.